Creams are new beginnings for me, so that's why I like taking pictures of creams. So every time you look through that lens, that's always your shot, and whatever that shot is, it could be a new beginning of anything.
I tie the sneakers and put it outside of the fire escape. People come to a conclusion where you don't know what it is to walk in other people's shoes sometimes, and sometimes you don't know what they go through.
This isn't just a graduate, it's a mother's sacrifice. This isn't just a homeless person, it's a connection to family.
She's homeless, but she's not hopeless or helpless.
How could you leave this room and not be inspired?
In 1841, a Boston bootmaker happened to be in police court one day and witnessed drunkard after drunkard sentenced to a jail term. In a light bulb moment, John Augustus spotted a promising defendant and made the judge an offer he didn't refuse. "Give this one to me, and I'll return him to court in a few weeks a reformed man." Augustus was as good as his word, and the father of probation was off to the races, having set every element of the practice in place. In 2020, almost as many Americans are on probation as live in Los Angeles.
Although the dominant share of our criminal justice system, it's a world few other Americans can imagine.
Instead of winding up in jail or prison, offenders are supervised in their community without advance warning and must regularly check in with the probation agency. By now, the probation function handles intake of juveniles into the justice system generally, while often conducting pre-sentence investigations of all manner of defendants, even those for whom an offer of probation would never be entertained. For decades, the reports tended to read like pulp fiction. Few Americans know of probation's outsized role in sentences handed out to many defendants. Still, many offenses beyond drunkenness can now earn a term of probation if the offender is deemed capable of rehabilitation in the community.
Charged with the responsibility of supervising almost 170,000 offenders, state probation officers work every day to ensure the safety of our communities. Probation officers help offenders who stand at a crossroads in their lives.
It asks them to replace some past risky thoughts that they might have.
How about step 2?
And replace those with a more positive or pro-social way of thinking.
Probation is giving the offenders a second chance to do their time in the community, but we're the ones out there making sure that they're doing it correctly and trying to keep the public safe.
Sometimes, even with the best of intentions, offenders find themselves back in trouble. Sometimes it's necessary for probation officers to work in collaboration with other state and local law enforcement agencies, assisting in warrant arrests and the monitoring of individuals suspected of reoffending.
We're in the business of second and third and fourth chances.
Before probation, I wasn't really utilizing my time properly. I was kind of involved in negative things here and there.
When I was younger, I was a menace. Wilding out with my friends, beating people up for no reason, running away from cops, doing whatever we wanted.
My story starts when I was young. I made a lot of mistakes. I was incarcerated 13 years. Out of those 13 years, I did 11 years in solitary confinement.
I started off in a positive way. It was the choices that I made.
I'm born in the heart of the heart, Bed-Stuy. I call it the jungle. Nowhere else in the city that is more dangerous.
Many in certain areas of the city have lived in fear for their lives.
There was a lot of negative. In the part where I grew up, like Brooklyn, you hear about the danger. You have to watch your back. I had to become a different person. I had to become more alert and more cautious about people, and I had to watch every move I made and watch every move everybody else was making.
We in the community and we don't see doctors, we don't see lawyers. Usually we see gangbangers or we see people that's trying to rob people. We don't really be around a good positive outlet or a good role model.
Participants and probation officials shared such observations with the New York City Council when, at an unusual public hearing, they sought support of a novel training program.
I'm from East New York, Brooklyn, and we have been affected a lot by gun violence and then the whole cycle of it, of parents going to jail and then never coming back.
I can't tell you how many young people on probation who don't think they're going to be alive next week.
Yet support by neighbors is critical to rehabilitation.
Community to me means togetherness. We stand together
People who help people gets helped.
If you don't have a community, you don't have no foundation. That's how I feel.
What happens when probation fails? A new conviction can send you to prison for the rest of your original sentence following a jail term, and that's not even counting the looming additional incarceration. The jail in New York City is the nation's most notorious. Meanwhile, an actual reoffense puts the community at risk. Searches of homes have turned up contraband. An offender going off the rails could be the worst time in a probation officer's life.